Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mary Morrison. We are interrupting your afternoon programming with breaking news to report. News Channel 6 has confirmed a shooting has occurred at Paine College this afternoon. We have one confirmed injury, status unknown. Richmond County Sheriff's deputies are currently looking for the suspect, and we do know that Paine College and GRU downtown are on lockdown. Josie High, Academy of Richmond County, and Lamar Millage School are all on soft lockdown as the search for a suspect continues. News Channel 6's Dion Guillory is live at the scene with the very latest. Dion, what can you tell us is going on right now?
Well, good afternoon to you, Mary. This campus is on lockdown. It's a very active scene. We're told it's an active shooter scene. Investigators are looking for the person responsible for this shooting. Take a look behind me. You can see that there are police cars here and there's sheriff's deputies around trying to comb this campus looking for the suspect. Now, we're told that the sheriff's office received a call about this situation around 1 o'clock this afternoon about a shooting on campus. There are very few details at this point, but we're told the shooting happened inside a building. We don't know which building on campus. Now, the victim is at GRU and is expected to recover. Now, investigators say they are not sure if this situation is connected to another incident that happened on campus yesterday. Now, we saw staff moving students from buildings around here to a much safer area because of the active shooter situation. And we also saw staff members going into other buildings, making sweeps of the buildings, making sure that students are out and also that the shooter may be somewhere on the campus. But at this point, Paine College is still on lockdown.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery, breaking into your afternoon programming with an update on the shooting at Paine College. Right now, we can confirm these schools are currently on lockdown. Take a look at your screen. Georgia Regents University, Josie High School, the Academy of Richmond County, Lamar Millage, Ursula Collins, and Langford Middle School. Georgia Regents University employees are still to report to work. Just make sure that your ID is available to access any of the buildings on campus. Richmond County deputies are currently looking for a suspect. Once again, a shooting at Paine College this afternoon. Law enforcement is reporting one person was injured in the shooting that happened on the campus. Deputies are looking for the suspect in that shooting in the downtown area of Augusta. Earlier this afternoon, we spoke with Richmond County Sheriff's Office spokesman Sergeant Shane McDaniel.
We're going to make sure that the property itself is safe. We want to make sure that there's no other victims. If there is a victim there, we want to find them, locate them, and get them to Georgia Regents University as soon as possible, as well as any suspects or suspects that might be on the property if they're still on the property. Once that concludes and the property is rendered safe, then we're going to start working the entire case as far as finding out who's responsible for shooting the suspect or shooting the victim that we had earlier today.
News Channel 6's Dion Guillory is live at Paine College now with an update. And Dion, of course, safety of the students is top priority. What can you tell us about what's happening on campus right now?
Well, Jenny, it's still a very active scene out here. Very few details are known at this point, but in the last 5 minutes, we saw a fire truck enter campus here and go down this road here. We aren't sure which building they are focusing on in their search for this suspect, but we know that the campus is on lockdown. It's been this way for about the past 2 hours. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office telling us that they got the call about this situation around 1 o'clock, and the victim that was shot is now at a hospital.
Dion, before you leave, let me ask you one more thing. Is there any indication at all from deputies how long these schools are going to remain on lockdown?
Jenny, at this point, there's no indication of how long it's going to be, but you know, every now and then there's a little more activity here. We've seen a group of deputies going from building to building. They're basically trying to sweep these buildings, trying to look for the suspect, and also trying to make sure the students who are still on campus are safe. And there earlier, we saw students being taken from the cafeteria to another secure building, making sure that they're all together and that they're all accounted for. So that's pretty much the situation right now, but we aren't sure for how much longer that the campus will be on lockdown. Right now, if we want to pan right here, my photographer Dominic is going to pan. You see this towing truck is coming on campus. We aren't sure why this truck was called in, but you can see it's making a turn onto Oak Street here to go down. You can see further down the street is the fire truck that I mentioned that came in about maybe 5-10 minutes ago, and so that towing truck is going down there. So obviously there may be some focus on a car or some vehicle of some type that is part of this investigation.
Once again, everyone, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office looking for a suspect in a shooting at Paine College this afternoon. It happened just after 1 o'clock or so. The officers have released a description of the suspect. He is described as a black male, about 5'8", 160 pounds, wearing black jeans, a white shirt, red ball cap, and shoes with green and white laces. Again, we are covering this latest information coming into the News Channel 6 newsroom regarding the Paine College shooting. Richmond County deputies actively searching for a suspect.
We continue to follow a campus shooting investigation out of Augusta tonight.
Yes, continuing coverage of the shooting at Paine College. Dion Guillory joins us live. Hey, Dion.
Dion, happened early this afternoon. What can you tell us now?
Well, right now the campus is still going. There are police officers still around, but it's not completely on lockdown at this point. There are some cars and some people who may be students and faculty who've been driving off the campus, and there are others who have been let onto the campus, but it's not, the complete lockdown has not been lifted yet. We want to show you just how big this campus is. Take a look at this map. We are talking about a huge area that investigators had to comb to find this shooting suspect. We were told that one person was shot, taken to GRU, and there is a person of interest in custody right now. And we also want to show you some video of a family reunion. Earlier this afternoon in a live interview, I talked to Angelia Meadows. She is hugging her brother, Alan Meadows, who was one of many students who was on campus when all of this went down. They have had their family reunion. It was a very tumultuous several hours that they were separated and no one really knew what was going on, but the brother and sister were able to communicate through text message, and so now tonight they are back together. We of course are waiting for more information to come out on what has gone on here all day. There is a news conference that's expected to happen in the next few minutes on the other side of campus. Our Renetta Dubose is there. We of course will continue to monitor that and bring you any new information as soon as we get it. Live at Paine College, I'm Dion Guillory for WJBF News Channel 6.
This is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
A shooting on the campus of Paine College, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery.
And I'm John Hart, in for Brad tonight.
Coverage you can count on does begin with that breaking news we've been bringing you all afternoon. One person shot on the campus of Paine College. The call came in shortly after 1 o'clock. Investigators say the victim was shot inside one of the buildings on campus. News Channel 6's Dion Guillory has been at Paine College all afternoon following this breaking news for us. Dion, a tense and frightening couple of hours on campus at Paine.
Well, Jenny, right now the campus is free-flowing right now. You can see behind me there is one deputy's car with the lights on, but that's a different scene from what we saw much earlier. There have been people who have been coming off campus and others allowed to go on the campus. We want to show you some video that we shot much earlier. There was a shooting that happened here around 1 o'clock. We know that one person was shot. That's what the deputies tell us, and there is a person of interest in custody. Now, a glimmer of hope in this entire situation is a brother and sister. We're talking about Angelia and Alan Meadows. Alan was a student who was in part of the lockdown here on campus. Angelia worried about her brother. They have reunited, hugs all around. They were able to communicate with each other through text messages. At one point, the communication was cut because Alan's phone died, but he was able to boost it back up and to let his sister know that he was fine, everything was all right. Back out here live, the situation is moving forward. There's a person of interest in police custody talking to investigators. They're going to try to figure out what happened here, but as for now, the campus is free-flowing. People are moving in and moving out.
Before we go, we want to recap the breaking news we've been bringing you all afternoon. A shooting on the campus of Paine College has left one person injured with what investigators now say are life-threatening injuries after being shot in the head. The shooting happened inside a dormitory on campus. Investigators do have a suspect in custody, and they say that the suspect is saying he's a student at Paine College, but they cannot confirm that claim. They are not releasing the identities of the victim or the suspect right now.
Coverage you can count on. This is WJBF News Channel 6 at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery.
And I'm John Hart in for Brad tonight, and we begin with new information just in from today's shooting at Paine College.
Investigators have just identified the victim as 21-year-old Jawan Baker of Wilmington, North Carolina. They say he was found on the 3rd floor of Haygood Hall with a gunshot wound to the left side of his head, just above the ear. That is the main building at the front of campus on 15th Street.
The sheriff's office says the victim is a Paine College student. He was rushed to GRU Medical Center with life-threatening injuries.
A suspect is in custody. He is also a Paine College student, but his identity has not been released. He's currently facing aggravated assault charges. It is the second shooting on the campus in as many days, and investigators are trying to figure out if they're linked.
And officials say the campus is now safe. Classes will go on as scheduled tomorrow. Dion Guillory runs down a tense day on the Paine campus.
Security is beefed up at this hour at Paine College, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, providing additional safety and security on campus, all after several scary hours for students, staff, and their families. Chaos on campus Monday afternoon, a shooting at Paine College. The campus immediately put on lockdown. Students taken from various buildings, all of them put up in the Hill complex as investigators searched the campus for the suspected shooter. Angelita Meadows, worried about her brother who was still on campus, spoke exclusively with me during our live coverage.
Well, I called him, I asked him was he all right. He told me that he was a little scared.
Her brother Alan, locked in a room with several other students as investigators continue to comb the campus for clues. Deputies say the shooting happened on the 3rd floor of Haygood Hall, the same building where Meadows' brother was.
They said the shooter was either on the same floor or on the floor beneath them. But other than that, you know, he was all right, but I done lost communication with him now. I done talked to him till his phone went dead.
We're told the victim was shot in the head, then taken to Georgia Regents University Trauma Center. About 2 hours later, a break in the case.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office did, in fact, take one person into custody. He's going to be a person of interest.
That man, 21 years old and now a suspect, found in one of the dorms, all playing out while Angelita Meadows waits to hear from her brother.
Just really worried. Just praying that he's all right, you know, just want him to come out.
About an hour later, the reunion she prayed for. The lockdown slowly lifted and her brother safe and sound.
We were scared, even the teacher was scared because she was an older woman. And at that time, they said the shooter was still loose.
Hugs all around after a day like no other.
I hope my mom cooked. But I just appreciate their support and their love and their care.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office says charges will be filed against the suspect. This is still under investigation. I'm Dion Guillory for WJBF News Channel 6.